Thank you so very much. Good evening, Soras of Omicron Theta Omega. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for our very first session of the Leadership Pearl Academy. Tonight's topic, LinkedIn to Stand Out. It is being presented by our very own Sora, Alyssa Gibson Allen. So let's give her a virtual applause as she comes to us to teach us how to stand out through LinkedIn. Good evening, Sora Alyssa. Thank you for being with us. We'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. Good evening, Soras, and thank you, Sora Nina. So I'm going to dive right in. Today, Soras, we are going to learn about how to establish your professional brand through building and elevating your LinkedIn profile. So here's a little agenda just so you know what we're getting into today. I'll start out with an introduction, telling you a little bit about myself and why this topic is of relevance to me, and I'm so excited to be here to share with you. We'll also dive into some information about LinkedIn through a workshop overview and a LinkedIn deep dive, where we're actually going to go through my LinkedIn page and I'm going to show you all how to use it and how to really optimize how you're using the tool. Don't just use it, but we're going to show you how to attract employers, attract connections, all of the above. And at the end, I will leave some time for questions and answers. Next slide, please. So a little bit about myself. Currently, I'm a senior workforce strategy and planning manager, program manager at Salesforce. It's located in San Francisco, California. Also owner of Uniquely You Resumes and Consulting for about 8 years now, just secretly. It's definitely one of my side gigs. And 15 plus years of work experience, 6.5 years professionally. And I've always had a passion for building professional brand, human resources, and I love the tech industry. So any sorors, comment in the chat if you are in the tech industry or information technology representing here today. Also, those of you who are in human resources. Specifically, software engineering environments, product and strategy and operations. I also wanted to share with you, Soras, a couple of my key areas of expertise, just so that you have a well-rounded understanding of where some of this knowledge comes from and why I feel like it's of utmost importance to share with you all today. I won't read them all out, but those things are available to you to view. Next slide, please. Alrighty, so what are we going to learn today? These are the learning outcomes. Today, sorors, you're going to learn about LinkedIn as a business social networking site. You're also going to learn the importance of having a LinkedIn profile and a strong virtual professional presence. Third, you're going to learn the benefits of LinkedIn as a job seeker or as a small business owner. You're going to learn how to stand out via your LinkedIn profile to attract employers and professional connections. And last but not least, you're going to learn about core functionalities of LinkedIn in order to leverage your knowledge, skills, and talents. Next slide, please. So, sorors, what is LinkedIn? LinkedIn is a business social networking site. It is also the world's largest professional network, according to their website, with more than 875 million members in more than 200 countries and territories worldwide. LinkedIn strives to create economic opportunities for every member in the global workforce by connecting the world's professionals to make them more productive and successful. And lastly, the site provides a virtual space for all things related to attracting talent and business users to create opportunities. Thank you. So you're probably wondering, why is LinkedIn so important? What are the benefits of this online tool? Well, LinkedIn is that a duplicate? I think that's a duplicate. However, LinkedIn is important because it can connect you with employers. You can develop various connections across the world. You can also reconnect with employers that you have worked with in the past or colleagues that you've worked with in the past. And some of the benefits of it are getting jobs. You can get hired with various employers, whether they are here in Missouri and St. Louis. You can get hired for jobs that are remote. You can collect recommendations from prior colleagues and employers. And I'm going to actually dive in the next step here to show you how that can be done via LinkedIn. And at this point, Soars, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, and technology, let me know if you're able to see my screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Yes.
Wonderful, thank you so much. So, Soars, this is LinkedIn. LinkedIn, as far as how do you log into this site? Just like you log into other social media or email, you have to create a username and password. Once all of that is created, you will be directed to the home page where you can customize your information. This is the home page of LinkedIn. As you can see here, this is me, and it will show my title or my name. So you've got your job title here. There's also really good information such as who has viewed your profile. So if you're someone who's seeking a job, you can see, oh, wow, this recruiter at BJC looked at my profile. I might be considered for a job. You can also see impressions of your posts. So what that means is, as you can see here, similar to Facebook, which I feel like a lot of us are familiar with, if you are not familiar, you can create posts for various topics, whether you're posting a photo to share a professional achievement, posting a video to share about a recruiting event, sharing events, or writing an article. You can see how many users on LinkedIn interacted with your post. There's also information here on the left-hand side about recent things that you viewed, any groups that you are part of on LinkedIn. Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated also has a network on LinkedIn that you can join. And you can also follow hashtags for various different topics. I'm going to provide an example of a hashtag that has been useful for many job seekers at this point in time. Currently, the tech industry, so information technology, there has been many layoffs over the past couple months. So a lot of job seekers in the tech industry are using hashtags so employers can find them. So say hashtag tech layoffs, or if you were laid off from a company like Google, for instance, hashtag Google layoffs. And they can click that hashtag, which I'm going to search it specifically. And you can find people who are recently laid off so that you can hire them for a role. So here's an example. This person saying after 6.5 years, they were laid off from Google and they are looking for a job. So then I can message him. This guy's name is Noah. I can message him and say, hey, I'm looking for a head of US Alliance partnerships at my company. I'd like to interview you. And you can reach out that way. Some other really cool features about LinkedIn. I'm going back to the home page now. You can view various posts of different things that are going on, and they're all very interactive. So for example, this is Bamboo HR. This is a applicant tracking system, which this is a system that people use to submit job applications. And they post polls throughout the week. HR professionals, do you have an HR certification? So I could say, hey, yes, or hey, no, and you can interact with people on the post by participating in the poll. And then you can also go in and make comments or like people's comments. And you can even decide to click their profile to connect with them. Okay. So I'm going to go back to the home page. So that is one type of post. You could post the polls like this group did. And then you can also see recommended connections, which I'll get into that just a little bit later in the next section. Aside from the homepage, the main features of the homepage, you can also look over here to the right for LinkedIn news, which usually there's a lot of top news about what's going on in the corporate world. Here's some of the things you could see. So like this topic, DEI, so diversity, equity, and inclusion teams shrink amid tech layoffs. We can click that topic and we can learn more about what are they speaking about. And then you can chime in on the conversation if you'd like to. You can like posts, you can comment, you can react to them based on how you feel about it. And you can even repost it to share with your network. Okay, I'm going to move on to my network. Source, do you have any questions so far about the home page in the chat? If you have a question, go ahead and post and I'll make sure if I don't answer it right away, I will save it to the end. Looks like there's none so far. Okay, I'm going to move on to the networking section. Premium, good call out. So yes, one thing I will mention about LinkedIn is there's several tiers for the website. There's a basic version of LinkedIn, which is free. And then there's a premium version of LinkedIn that does cost. So I'm going to click this, see premium features. And wait for it to load. I am a LinkedIn premium user. I personally use it a lot for my job. And there's a lot of features that come with it on a monthly subscription basis. I think it's like between 30 and 40 a month, which I know can be really high. But the free one also offers several different capabilities as well. Premium is really, it's really good for if you're looking for a job and you want to see how you measure up to other candidates. So I'll walk through that and show you now. So if you're a premium member, you have credits to message people for free. Right now it says I have 5 in-mail credits available. So this is if I want to message someone that I'm not already connected with. So say I'm looking for a job and I find the hiring manager. I can use one of my in-mail credits to message them and let them know I'm interested in a job posting that they have. You can also utilize LinkedIn Learning. I'm going to open that in a new tab where you are going to be able to take various courses, learning paths, review videos, listen to audio, be involved in events to learn more about whatever you're seeking knowledge on. So if you want to learn, how do I find a job? You can click this video and watch it. And then you can also do a learning path or a course where it will document on your profile that you took that course and it's something that you can add to your experience. So for instance, if I am in IT and I'm a project manager, I can take a project management foundations course, and that will be something that I can put on my LinkedIn and possibly my resume as well to say that I have experience with project management. And this is a course, which the courses are typically longer because they really want to make sure that you get all of the concepts. And it's about 3 hours and 32 minutes of learning that I don't have to pay additional for with being a premium member. One thing I will add, Soars, is there are some employers that pay for the LinkedIn Learning subscription. So that's something you could write down and check with your employer. For instance, even if I didn't have the premium LinkedIn, my employer pays for LinkedIn Learning. So I have it regardless if I'm a premium member or not. So write that down to check with your employer to see if they have some sort of educational reimbursement or payment for LinkedIn Learning. Okay. So I'm going to go back to my home page here. Another benefit of premium is also getting hired faster because you could see how you weigh with other top applicants. And I'm going to show you what that looks like right now. Okay. So for instance, here's a premium feature. I'm looking at a project manager job application. It's going to tell me the salary range. So this one says 100K to 110K a year, which is some decent money. And it's also going to tell me what skills are required for the job. And it shows a list, and you can even add the skill to your profile, of course, if you have that skill. It will even share with you the hiring team if you have the premium subscription. And then some of the regular subscriptions also will show you the hiring team depending on how the employer decided to display the information. So I can message him directly if I'm interested in that job, if I'd like to. It has the job description here. You can review all of the details to figure out if you're fit for the job. And then this is where you could see how you weigh up with other applicants. So there's a lot of applicants for this job. There's 1,934, which with all of the layoffs, there's a lot of people looking for jobs. And in the past day, there's 107 applicants. So if you like data and you're curious like me, this is kind of good information to know. But you could see what are some of the most common skills that most applicants have that you'll be competing against if you apply for this job. So for instance, the top 5 skills among most candidates are Microsoft Office, customer service, communication, Microsoft Excel, and leadership. It will also show you some of the other skills that are common among most candidates, but just, they dwindle it down to the top 10, but then they green out the top 5. You can also see the applicant seniority levels. So are you competing against more director level applicants, manager level, entry level, senior level? And it will tell you the specific number of other applicants that apply for that job. It will even go into detail about applicant education level. So for instance, out of that very big number of applicants, 55% have a bachelor's degree, 20% have a master's, 18% have a Master of Business Administration specifically, and 7% have other degrees. And to add, they'll even show you where these candidates are located. So 193 of them are in New York, 130 in LA, and 93 in Washington. So a lot of just really interesting details if you're curious, hey, if I were to apply to this job, how would I measure up against all of these other people? There are also ways to apply to the job that are quick, and some are just the standard way where it's going to direct you to the employer's website directly. Another thing that you'll see when you're a top applicant is as you're scrolling for jobs, it will say it right within the job profile block. So I'm going to search for something that I probably would be a fit for. Okay, we have to wait. So I'm going to do one more search. I'm not seeing them pop out as much today because I'm not applying the right search, but some other things you'll see, hey, you have a preferred skill badge. Okay, that's going to give me a leg up when I apply for that job. If you see actively recruiting, you know that that company is serious about finding someone relatively quickly to where they're not going to have you waiting to hear back for a long period of time. And here we go. This is exactly what I'm looking for. Your profile matches this job. So it's telling me, hey, based on your experience, you would be a great fit for that job. And then I can know that if I apply, I might be more likely to hear back from a hiring manager or recruiter to be considered for that position. Okay. And sometimes it'll even tell you, hey, you're in the top 10% of candidates. And that's going to mean that you're more likely to get an interview. Not guaranteed, but definitely the likelihood of you getting it is more common. All right. So we'll touch a little bit more on applying for jobs in a second here. I'll wrap up this premium section. Last but not least, you could see specifics about people who have viewed your profile. I'm going to open that up. And you can even display your premium badge on the profile. And there's a lot of different tips for how to use it. So I'm going to go here. This is the data for who viewed your profile and how often people look at your profile. So this week I had 121 people look at my profile. And here's the specific people who looked. So a lot of people in St. Louis were looking at my profile. A lot of people within IT services and IT consulting were reviewing my profile. And the top company that was viewing my profile was Salesforce, because I work there, right? So could be people I've worked with or been in a meeting with. They're like, hey, I would like to connect with you. So then they'll view your profile and send you connection requests, which I will show you how to do shortly. Here's just some more information. Next, let's dive into my network. Within this section of LinkedIn, you can manage your network and build connections. So here we can see that on LinkedIn, I have 1,313 connections. And here's my number of contacts. As you connect with people, sometimes you can get their contact information if you'd like to keep in touch or schedule a meeting with them. I'm part of 13 groups. Here's some different events that I've been invited to via LinkedIn, professional networking events, pages that I like or follow, newsletters that I'm subscribed to via LinkedIn, and the amount of hashtags that I'm following on LinkedIn. You can even check out the birthdays, job changes, and work anniversaries of your colleagues on LinkedIn so that you can wish them well. So here's an example of some of my colleagues, some that got new jobs, some that had birthdays, and some that had work anniversaries. So really cool feature if you'd like to just connect with people and stay in touch and have a reason to have a conversation. Next, you can see all of the invitations for people who would like to connect with you. You don't have to accept them all. You can ignore them or you can accept them, and then sometimes you'll get a message. So like this person right here, he sent me an in-mail message in addition to a connection request. So if I accept it, so I'm going to do that. It's going to pop up, hey, you got a message from Robin and he would like to connect with me. So then I would be able to type a response to him. And LinkedIn makes it really easy. If you don't have a lot of time, you can just click one of the automated responses. Alrighty, go back here. You'll also get invitations for newsletters, events, all of that will be in the invitations section under My Network in LinkedIn. And then you'll see a large amount of people who follow people that you follow on LinkedIn, other people that are recommended for you to connect with, and people you may know at your current employer. So all of these people right here work for Salesforce as well. And here's some recommended pages for me. And the list goes on and on. Lots of recommendations depending on your industry, your interests, your employer. It makes it super easy to connect with people virtually. And sometimes you can meet up with them in person. All right, next I'm going to go to jobs, spend a little time on this. So I know I touched on it a little bit as far as knowing if you're a top candidate or not. For now, I'm going to go over a couple of different things you can do as a job seeker on LinkedIn. On the sidebar here, it'll send you reminders for any jobs that you saved at the top with job update. And then it will also show you various different areas that you can look into. So if you saved a job, you can click My Jobs. Or if you applied to a job, you can also review it. And if the job is no longer available, you could still look at what you saved previously or what job you've been hired against. So here's all of my saved jobs. One thing I will mention about viewing jobs is even if you're happy with your employer, you always can just look and save them just in case, because with the economy right now, it's always good to have some ideas of where you would go next. And you can also use other job descriptions to compare against your resume to make sure that you are fresh and make sure that your information is relevant for the current job environment. So I'm always saving jobs. You can apply to jobs on here, which I will go through that as well. But once you apply to a job, it will show you everything you applied for. So for instance, this is my job right here that I work for now. I'm going to click it and show you what it looks like after you've already been hired or after the job posting is closed. It will say no longer accepting applicants, and it will say that you applied on the company site. And you can review your job details if you just need a refresher on what you applied for to update your resume. All right, I'm going to go back there. For the archives jobs, you can go back and review jobs that you saved or applied for, but are no longer available as well. Okay. So if you are looking for a job, this is how you will do so. For instance, say I'm looking for let me think of a job here. If I'm looking for a software engineer job, I'll type it in the search bar and select search. It will show me the job specifically. If I don't click in jobs, it will show me people who are in that role. So for instance, these people are software engineers. It'll show me posts from people who are software engineers. And it will also show me groups and events. So if you're looking for a specific job, you can look at other people who are in that role and maybe connect with them to ask questions. You can join groups to learn more information and decide if you want to attend an event. Some of these are virtual and some are in person. And you can even take courses to deepen your skills within the job title that you are looking to get into. If I want to apply for a job, I'll click See All Jobs. And I can browse this list for what I'm looking for. As you can see, this is a lot of jobs. So you can add filters to determine what you're specifically looking for based on what's most relevant or most recent. You can select when the job was posted. So anytime within the past week, within the past month, or within the past 24 hours. You can select experience level. So if you're looking for an internship, you select this box here. If you're looking for a mid to senior level position, you would select this box here, and so on and so forth. You can also select the company that you're looking to work for. Say I'm looking to work at Proficient, or if I want to work for another company that's not listed, I can add it in. I'm going to add Bayer, one of our local companies here. And then I can decide, okay, what job type do I want to look for? I'm going to look for a full-time job or a contract job. You can select on-site, which means you're working on-site at the employer. Remote, which means it could possibly be at a company that's not located in St. Louis. Or hybrid, where you're going in the office a few days of the week and working from home the rest of the days of the week. So I'm going to leave that open just to see what comes out. And you could even select, hey, I only want to see the jobs that I'm a top applicant for if you have the premium subscription. But if you don't, you still have more abilities to look for jobs, even though that option is not available. And you can also select the easy apply option, which I'm going to show you what that is because I think it would be insightful for all of you. You can select the location, industry, job function, title, how many applicants. So if you want to only apply to jobs that are under 10 applicants versus almost 2,000, that's something that you can do on LinkedIn here. And you can even make sure you're only applying to jobs that are within your network or if they're a fair chance of employer. So these are employers that have signed pledges to hire people with criminal records if that pertains to you. You can set the salary requirement for the job that you want to look for. If you don't want to see anything under a certain salary, you can customize by looking at it this way. Select if you'd like a job with benefits, depending on all of these options here. And then once you've decided, okay, I think that's everything that I'm looking for, you'll select show 1K plus result, however many results are available. And based on my results, here's the jobs that I'm getting back that I feel like, okay, I can look at these and determine which one will I be a fit for based on what I customize my filters for. You can select the job. You can review all of the information that you customize. It'll tell you the company size. So this one is 5,001 to 10,000 employees. It's within IT services and consulting. And it will even tell you based on your connections who works there. So for instance, based on my connections, one person works there that I may know. There's 14 company alumni, so people that I'm connected to that used to work there. And then 25 school alumni. So this means that people that went to the same college that I went to work at that company. So I'm going to go ahead and open one up. So I'm going to see who is this one connection that I know that works at Proficient. And it's going to tell me, oh, it's Andrea Lambert. I know her from BJC or whatever job you used to work with. And then you can message them and say, hey, I was looking to apply for this position. Do you know anyone, or do you know what do I need to do to land that job? Super easy to connect. All right. Each job is like a traditional job description where it has an overview of the company. It'll tell you the candidate's responsibilities. And it even breaks them down here as well. Most job descriptions I've seen on here also put a link to the direct website for the employer so you can review and learn more about them or just apply directly through their career site. It'll list qualifications that are required for the position. And then it states a lot of their legal language and things like that at the end, and their mission, vision, and values, who they are, what they believe in, depending on the employer. And from there, if you're premium, it has these insights, but even if you're not premium, there's some other insights available as well, depending on what the information, the employer has decided to share. If I want to go ahead and apply to this position, any position that has easy apply makes the application process very quick versus having to log into the career site, upload your resume. The resume doesn't pull the information into the field, so then you have to type all the information up again. The plus side to easy apply is that you don't have to do that. The recruiters are active on LinkedIn and they're using everything that you're putting in on LinkedIn to consider you for the position within their company. So I would click easy apply. I'm not going to apply because I'm not looking for a job. But what you could do is put in your email. You'll put in your country code. So for us in the US, it's +1 for the phone number. You would type in your phone number. And then you can even upload your resume. Make sure you upload the most recent one from your computer. And as simple as clicking a button, you submit your application and you wait to hear back from a recruiter. Very quick, seamless, and easy. You don't even have to go to the employer and ask for the job. You just go on LinkedIn, spend 2 minutes filling this out, and you're already being considered for that role. If you haven't decided that you want to apply for that role yet, you can save the application for later, and it'll put it in your Save Jobs section. And I can see all of my saved jobs here. And for any role that does not have the easy apply, this is what it might look like. So if I want to apply for the senior program manager position at Zillow, I'll click apply. And it will ask you if you'd like to share your profile with the hiring or recruiting team. And it's up to you, but it is great to do it because it can increase your chances of being viewed by the hiring team. You'll click on, I'm going to say no, because I don't want them to think I'm looking. And then you'll click continue, and it'll take you directly to the company site to apply to the position that you applied for. Super easy. And with this one, Zillow looks like one of those companies that has a talent network. You can upload your resume and even it'll tell you which jobs you're a match for at the company. So every company's different, but Zillow seems to be one of the ones that has that really cool technology. But this will also take you to the full application for the company And nowadays I'm noticing a lot of companies are putting their salary in the description. This one looks great. I'm sure we all would like to have one of these salaries or more. But it'll just tell you a lot about the job itself. Okay. All right, so I'm going to move away from the job section here. And I'm going to go to messaging, notifications, and then dive into the profile for the sake of time. Messaging is pretty straightforward. You could respond to messages that you receive from people, or you can send someone a message based on your contacts. I'm gonna use our Madam Basilisk. If I want to send her a message, I type her name and then I would write her a message and click send. You can reply to messages with pictures or send messages with pictures. You can attach files. So if I want to send her my resume, I can do that through here. I can reply with a GIF, which is an animated image. I can send her an emoji. And customize how I want to use this function as well. In the next section, we have notifications, where you can see so much information as far as someone that you follow that made a new post. You can see job alerts worldwide for some of the positions that you're following or the job title that you're following. You can get results of polls that you participated in. You can see when someone's viewed your profile. So I'm going to actually show you that really quick. You'll click see all views. And aside from seeing this data here, you'll see the specific people that looked at your profile so that you can decide, hey, I want to connect with you. Let me go back. So lots of different information that can show up in the notifications section, and you can even customize your notifications in the settings. So if I do that, I'm going to click view settings, and I can decide, okay, based on all of these types of notifications, what do I actually want to see? All conversations, am I going to get an alert? Do I only want a notification when someone sends me a message? Okay, then I need to turn all of these other ones off. If I only want a notification when someone's trying to connect with me, then I would need to turn everything off except for connection invitations accepted or sent. Okay. All right. And now I want to spend the last, about, let's see here, 15 minutes or so on the profile, which is, I feel, the most important part of LinkedIn. You have to have a strong profile. So here's the profile page. You get there by clicking yourself where it says me. And there's various aspects of LinkedIn where you can craft a good, strong profile that stands out to hiring managers and recruiters. At the top here, you can see that I have a banner. You can create your own custom banner in a tool such as Canva, PowerPoint, or if you don't have your own custom banner, you'll click the pencil to edit it. But LinkedIn does have several different banners that you could just choose from. So if I want to click change photo, I can use all of these already available banners that LinkedIn has, depending on what represents me and the way that I want to be represented in the job market. Okay, so I'm going to close out of that. Next, you can add a profile photo. So this is my profile photo. You can determine who is able to see your profile photo. So anyone who has a first-degree connection to me, okay, they could see my photo. Or you can decide anyone and everyone that you're already connected with, I would like them to see my photo. Okay, you can set it to where all LinkedIn members can see it. And you can even set it to where anyone on or off LinkedIn can view your profile photo. So for instance, say it's someone who's looking for people to work for their company, they can see your LinkedIn profile, whether they have a LinkedIn profile or not. So this is all about your own discretion about how visible you want to be online. If you're more private, probably you just want to make it to your network or your first degree connections. If you're pretty open and really don't mind, then you want to lean more towards all LinkedIn members to where if someone has a profile, they could see your face. or anyone on and off LinkedIn. It's all about what you prefer. Okay. You can add a photo where you'll click this and you'll upload something from your computer. And then you can even add frames. So if I wanted to look for a job, I can add this frame where it tells people, just as they see my photo scrolling through LinkedIn, I'm open to work, I need a job, I'm looking. Or if I'm a hiring manager or small business owner and I'd like to hire someone, I can do this banner, which says hiring. And it lets people know, hey, if you're looking for a job based on what you see that I've had available on the jobs page, reach out to me because I need someone. You apply it, and then it will make it visible for all LinkedIn members to see. Next, this is the name section. So I'm going to click the pencil to edit. Here, I can display my premium status. So this one just says that I have the premium profile to where anyone can message me without needing a set number of in-mails available. And then my badge is just there to let people know that. You can go in and add your name, first name, last name, with your credential behind it if you have credentials. If you have a secondary name, you can add that here. And you can even add the pronunciation of your name. Okay, I don't know if you all are able to hear that or not, but you can add it to where there's not, people don't have trouble pronouncing your name correctly when they've already viewed your profile. Another thing, I don't have it, but in the profile photo section, you can actually add a video introduction introducing yourself. I will try, and I think I just saw a guy who had one. So if I could find that, I will pull it up and show you ladies. But I just haven't done that yet. So maybe I'll add that next. But you can add a video introduction as well to really give yourself that edge among other candidates. You can add your pronouns. So she, her for me. And then you can make your pronouns available for just your connections or for your or for all LinkedIn members. You can add a headline, which there's usually two most common headlines that I see. This one is just basic. So like my job title and the company that I work for. Another example is different roles that you play. So some people put transformational leader, program manager, change management aficionado, different things like that. So it just really depends on your personality and what, how you want to market yourself and brand yourself in the virtual networking space. You also can select your current position so people know what you're currently doing as they search for you, especially if your colleagues at work are looking for you. You can add a new position through this section if you have a new job. You can select that people can see the current company you work for, and if you don't want them to see that, you can uncheck this box. And then you can also mention the industry that you're working in. So for me, it's information technology, computer software, that industry. You can list your education based on what is current. And then also you can check the box if you want people to see it or not. And then you can enter your location. One last thing, you can determine if you want people to see your contact information or not. It's optional if you want to fill it out. So if you want people to contact you through your LinkedIn, you can have them be able to do that. But I'm one of those people where I'm like, I'd rather them message me for that information. So I just don't have it listed besides email if I'm applying to a job. Okay. And then if you have a personal portfolio website, you can add the link to that there. I'm going to save it. Next, there's some general analytics that are on the profile. It just, again, shows you how many people viewed it, your impressions, and how many times you appeared in a search, which is really good to know because as recruiters and hiring managers are searching for candidates, you want to have a high number of how many times you appear in a search, because you're going to get that many more hits if you're looking for a job, right? And that is done by listing out all of your skills on your LinkedIn and having a really good, thorough profile with several things featured. This is a resources section. This is private to you. No one else sees this stuff. Either of these, no one else can see. This is just for you to see and know. You can decide if you want creator mode on. So I sometimes like to post inspirational things or share job postings or programs that are available for the community to sign up for. So this just makes me more available throughout all the different industries that I support. And then I can create newsletters if I want to as a creator, and I can turn the mode off if I don't want to use it anymore. And there's several other resources there. So for the sake of time, I'm going to skip that one because the more important things on here I want to dive into. This is the featured section. So if you make a post, you can save it here to where anytime an employer or a connection looks at it, they can look at some of your top accomplishments or things that were really pivotal for you to share. If you're curious about, hey, I can't remember what I commented on, you can go to this section, which is activity, and review your prior posts, anything you liked, any polls that you participated in. You can review that information here. And you can even start a post from your profile page if you click this button. This right here is the about section. So this is where we really get into the good stuff. So this is where you can customize this however you'd like. If you just like something general, I usually will use my professional summary at the top of my resume and put it here, but then I'll just kind of add more color to it on LinkedIn. So this is pulled directly from my resume. This is my professional summary, just capturing my experience, type of environments that I thrive in case employer or connection needs to know that. And then I list my key areas of expertise in case someone wants to reach out to me for advice on how to do something in their professional job. I list my major accomplishments. Whether it's me or any client that I do a resume or LinkedIn for, I always put these there because as someone who's been in the hiring space as a recruiter, seeing that is going to make me reach out to that candidate very quickly. And I always like to add a little personal touch. So I put how I do my best work and some of my goals for the year so that employers know what I'm aiming for. The next section is your experience. So this is where you really talk about what you do. You can list every single job that you work for. I recommend adding more detail to your most recent, any job you've done in the most recent 5 to 8 or so years. And then you can list your other jobs. You just don't need to add as much detail depending on how many times you change jobs. You can add your job title, employment type, company name, location type. So if you're on-site, hybrid, or remote. And you can check the box if you're still currently in that role. And then you'll add your start date information so employers know how long you've been working there. If you don't currently work there, you can put the end date. You'll add your industry. You could put any descriptions if you'd like to add that to the job. And you can even add your skills that were relevant to that job specifically and add any media as well that is related to that job. After you're done with that, you can select save. And here's an example of how that has been filled out on my profile. And this is actually a job I got through LinkedIn. So this is just showing that if you really fill out your profile well and market yourself well, you can land a job through this tool. So I have all the things that I've crafted to show my experience, as well as all the skills used on the job. And then I added some media, which I think it just kind of sweetens it up if I'm looking for a new job or just want to share with connections. Okay. So that is the experience section. And I will wrap up. I'll try and keep this nice and brief to allow some time for some questions here. The next section is education. This is where you can add all of your accolades, all of your degrees. Similar to the job one, you'll press the plus sign. Any changes that you make, this is also the same in the job section. You can select if you want to notify your network of the change, and it'll put this really cool post just saying, hey, so-and-so got a new job or so-and-so earned a degree, and then a lot of your contacts will congratulate you. You can add your school, degree, field of study, start and end dates, your GPA if you'd like to, and then you can also list your activities and societies, so Greek organizations, if you're in the marching band, did any sports. And then again, you can add as a description in media if you'd like to do that. So that's the education section. Get out of there. There's just a few more sections. Aside from education, you can add all of your licenses and certifications if you'd like to. You don't have to have this section. It's an optional one. If you want to add profile sections, there's so much that you can add. You don't have to have everything, but there's core things that you want to have on the profile, such as education, position. You can add career breaks now due to the pandemic that was added. A lot of people have been laid off or were furloughed when they added this feature. So you can add an explanation to where recruiters won't have to ask much. You can add your skills individually. They have this section where you can add anything that's featured, your licenses and certifications, courses you've taken. You can get recommendations from people. And then again, a lot. Honors and awards can be listed here, organizations, volunteering experience. And here's some of those examples. So I have all my volunteering experience. Anytime I have an experience, I add it here just so that I can keep track. Add all of your skills, and connections can go in and endorse your skills to say, hey, she actually can do these things. And you can tie them to every single experience you had. So you show proof that you can actually do those things. And last but not least, we have recommendations. So if you really are loving something that someone's doing, you can click this plus sign and give a recommendation. You'll select the connection. And then you can press continue, select how you know them, select the position it was related to, and then you'll type a recommendation to that person, and they have to approve it before it shows up on their profile. And you click send. You can also give them using that same path, but you'll request them by asking for a recommendation if you'd like someone to recommend you to help you get a job. And towards the end, you can list your honors and awards, any languages that you speak, and any organizations that you're associated with. And other things, you can like pages and it'll just show your interests and causes that you are fond of. So that is LinkedIn in a nutshell. Soars, I'm going to open it up for Q&A. Don't be shy. No question is a stupid question. I'm happy to help.
Great job, Sarah. Listen.
Thank you.
So Alyssa, a quick question. You had mentioned about first direct contacts. How are those defined?
Great question. So those are defined by people that worked at your previous employer, potentially had a similar job title as you at that employer. So think of someone that might be your coworker. They're going to show up as your first connection. And these are usually people who are also in the same city as you too. So the more commonalities you have with that other person's profile, the closer degree of a connection you are. I'll show an example. So like, Madam Baslis, I'm going to use you because you're one of my first connections, if you don't mind. So you're going to see this first next to her name right here. We have a lot in common. We used to work at, I used to work at Bayer, so they're taking that, okay, first connection. We have 30 mutual connections. So if we have a lot of like connections, you're going to be a closer degree to that person. Does that help, Sora?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Wonderful.
And Sora Alyssa, this is Sora Michelle.
Hi, Sora.
This is just incredible information. I really appreciate this because my job as a recruiter, they forced me to have a LinkedIn account, but I don't know how to properly use it.
Gotcha.
So I use it to try to identify talent. And I do have a premium account, but that's like a whole nother world. And I've been asking for training on it and I can't get it. But anyway, getting to the
Yes.
question, my question is, how do I stop recruiters from trying to recruit me? I am trying to find talent, but what I often find is that I get inbox for agencies that are trying to recruit me to work for them.
Great question, Sora. I will say one thing first. You've got a great profile for them to really want you that bad.
Thank you, Sora. Thank you.
You can make sure, because sometimes even if you're not looking, they will reach out because they really need someone like yourself, right? But you could just
Okay.
politely tell them no, but by not having open to work on your profile,
Oh,
that should
you
let
said
them
open
know.
to work?
Yeah, so that little banner I showed you that's green and said open to work, if you don't have that on there, that typically says you're not available. That doesn't mean recruiters won't reach out to you though, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
But even if you want to take this offline, I'd be happy to look with you to see if there's anything I'm seeing. But honestly, I think they really like your talent.
Oh, it just drives me crazy. I just get inbox so much. And I'm thinking like, I am looking for talent and it just drives me crazy. So yeah, I'll definitely give you a call on that because I don't
Yes.
understand it. And it's so complicated, which is why I really appreciate this workshop because your presentation kind of simplifies something that's wildly different than Instagram, wildly different than Facebook.
Yes.
And it has a culture of its own to communicate. Yeah, I really appreciate that. I
No
will definitely
problem.
give you a call about how to use the premium account to find talent because it's like a
Yes.
whole different screen and yeah, and pulling in degrees and experience and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yes. Two last recommendations, and I'm going to answer Sor Eleanor's question.
Sure.
You can get that banner that says hire. It's purple, so people know you're hiring. And then one other thing you could do is
Oh.
instead of having your job title in this heading here, you could put something like this, seeking top talent, right here. And
Okay.
so candidates will just start reaching out to you if you do it that way. And we can, again, connect offline to go into some specifics.
Okay, so I can change it like for different work roles, right? So
Yes.
oh, okay, got it. Excellent,
Yes.
excellent, excellent. Thank you so much. Excellent job,
Yes.
Soror.
Thank you. I'm going to get Sor Eleanor, and then I'll go over to you, Sor Rainey. So Sor Eleanor, you said, thank you. Thank you for the comment. So how much time should we plan to invest in creating a complete LinkedIn presence? That is a stellar question. I will say this, I do recommend starting with a very strong resume. If you do not have, and using that information to populate your LinkedIn profile, but if you don't currently have a strong resume, don't have a resume at all, or kind of need someone to review it first, you can start tailoring your LinkedIn profile. Look for someone that has a similar job profile as you and use them as an example. You don't have to copy and paste, but just use it to spark some imagination of how you can really craft it to have that edge. And I would say, do commit some time to this. I mean, at least 1 hour of time to just add all of your information, really think about all the skills you have in every single job and try and portray that very well on LinkedIn and be clear about what kind of professional you are. So if you're a program manager, show that on LinkedIn. If you're a software engineer, show that. If you're a teacher, show that so that people know that when they're looking for someone to fill a role, they know specifically where they can fit you in.
Great. We'll take one more question.
So Rainey. So Rainey, did you have a question? I think you're on mute.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, great
right.
job. I love this. But you were stating that when you want to use LinkedIn, there's two basic categories, basic
Yes.
and premium. So
Mhm.
you showed us pretty much premium because that's where you are, correct? My
Correct.
question,
Yes.
oh, okay. My question to you is, I'm going to start off using basic. How many categories do you get? I'm sure you don't get as much categories as the premium for basic, but is it still just as good as using premium?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I just, it's personal preference if you want premium, if you want just some little other fancy, functionalities, but you could still apply to jobs. You could still reach out to the same amount of hiring managers. You could still customize your profile to a T, and you still could be recruited to be fitted into your dream role with basic. Premium is just a preference.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much. I
Yes.
love this. Doing a great job.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you, Sorors.
Mhm.
Great, wonderful. So you see, there's lots of interest, Sarah, Alyssa. So I think the conversation will continue well beyond tonight's presentation. But let's give a virtual applause and thank you to our very own Sarah Alyssa for an outstanding job on her presentation of LinkedIn to stand out. So job well done, Sarah. On the screen, you will see the survey. We're always looking forward to your feedback and sharing with us your thoughts as it relates to the presentations that we're bringing forward. So if you could please take time to do that tonight. You see all the accolades coming through, Sarah Alyssa. So this session was very informative, and personally, Sarah Alyssa, just want to thank you. I have a LinkedIn account myself, but I have only used the bare minimum, if you will. So it's very insightful and I learned just tons. So thank you so much. And we realized, Sarah, is that through LinkedIn, the ability to network, post a job, look for a job, that is such a very intuitive platform for career exploration. And it does work in terms of the networking, because I had a colleague reach out and was looking to interview someone and saw that they were connected to me through another organization and called and said, hey, you know this person, what can you tell me? I see that you're connected through LinkedIn. So employers are definitely out there and looking. The other piece is that, Sarah's, whether you're looking to create a LinkedIn page or you have one and you're looking to expand it, or you're willing to help family and friends, now you have more information, you have more knowledge, new knowledge. So please utilize it as we continue to grow and learn in OTO. So again, we want to thank you. We want to thank the tech team. Thank you very much for your assistance. And at this time, I want to turn it over to Madam Basilisk for closing remarks.
Soros, thank you. Thank you so much, Sora Alyssa. So we wanted to start the topic off at the top of the year to help us shine, not only within Alpha Kappa Alpha, but also in your professional worlds and out facing. So Soros, let me see those virtual hand claps and appreciation for Sora Alyssa. This is her labor of love. This is what she does. If you didn't know, she does resume, as she mentioned quietly at the top of her presentation. So Soros, do not let this fall on deaf ears. Take some time within the next week or so to go in and look at your profile, even if in fact you change one thing, including your volunteer opportunity with Alpha Kappa Alpha, because all of you are on here. And those are how we make connections, and that is how we connect with each other, within the sorority as well as professionally and personally. So Soros, thank you so much. Thank you so much to Sora Nina and Sora Alyssa, both of you guys. I appreciate you all and have a good evening.
Thank you so much, Sorors.
Yes, thank you so much, Madam Basilisk. We really appreciate you, and we appreciate
Thank
your
you.
vision and ensuring that we continue the learning and the growth within our chapter. So I just want to say, have a fantastic week. We want you to stay warm and stay safe as we anticipate this snow that's to come. But St. Louis, we might not get any snow, so we'll see. But nonetheless, we want you to be safe and to stay warm. And we look forward, as you see on the screens, Leadership Pearl Academy. Our next session is scheduled for February the 22nd, sorry, that's February 22nd at 6 p.m. Again, thank you so much and have a fantastic week. Have a good evening, sirs.
Good evening.
Good evening.